Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you once again for this Bhagavad Gita study circle. And we have been discussing the chapter 3 since last several weeks. And we are discussing Karma Yoga, very interesting topic. There are very interesting concepts that Krishna is sharing. And here, especially in Karma Yoga, in the past several shlokas, we have seen that how Krishna has explained about Yajna. He has also explained about certain very important things about the Yajna cycle. And just in the previous session, he has also mentioned about why we need to perform Yajna. And he has given some examples of people who actually are, although they are jnani, self-realized souls, they are still executing their karma. So, very interesting, very nice things Krishna is explaining. But in spite of all these things, there seems to be some confusion in the mind of Arjuna. And that's the reason Krishna has to further explain, right? So let's understand today what Krishna wants to explain, what are the several important things that Krishna wants to tell Arjuna so that he gets clear in his mind as to perform his religious duties. Extremely important. So before I start the session, I have some guests with us here also on YouTube. Achyutanji has today joined on YouTube, and also Maitri Mataji is also here on YouTube. So very interesting thing that Krishna is going to explain here today. So let's understand this. But before that, let me switch the screens and begin with the invocation prayers. So all of you kindly join your palms and try to chant along with me the invocation prayers. So that way it will be really nice before we begin the session. So Krishna is explaining certain very nice things today. So let me just share my screen quickly. And here we go. Yeah, just hold on, give me a minute. Yes, all right. So I think now the screen should be visible to all of you, and let's begin with this invocation prayers. So kindly join your palms and chant along with me the Pranama mantras. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। Hare Krishna. So let's begin with a brand new shloka today, and that is shloka number 22 from chapter 3. So I request Dev Chandan to unmute yourself and let's chant this very interesting shloka. And before that, I would like to dedicate this session to my beloved spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. So, Dev, you can unmute yourself and let's chant this shloka together. Are you ready?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Name parthasti kartavyam
Name parthasti kartavyam
Trishu lokeshu kinchana
Trishu lokeshu kinchana
Nanavaptam avaptavyam
Nanabhaptam avaptyavyam
Varta eva cha karmani.
Varta eva cha karmani.
Once again, Name parthasti kartavyam
Name parthasti kartavyam
Trishu lokeshu kinchana
Trishu lokeshu kinchana
Nanavaptam avaptavyam
Nanabhaptam avaptyavyam
Varta eva cha karmani.
Varta eva cha karmani.
Wonderful. Can you read the translation by yourself today?
Sure, Prabhuji. O son of Partha,
Pritha.
O son of Pritha, there is no word prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems. Nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in my prescribed duties.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, a very interesting shloka. Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. So, Krishna is saying here, after mentioning about the kind of duties that the great demigods like Brahma, earlier he mentioned about Prajapati. So, Prajapati also initiates this process of yajna. And here in the just previous verse, in the 20th shloka, Krishna explained that how Janaka, the great Janakadayaha, Priyavrata Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, although they are self-realized, they also perform their prescribed duties. They don't get away from their prescribed duties. They are very responsible. Although self-realized, they take joy in doing their prescribed duties. You see, so beautifully Krishna has given the example. But Arjuna may have a doubt. Oh, all these people are there, but Krishna, why should I do that? Krishna is telling, now, if you do not trust them, I, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although I have nothing to do, I am giving you my example, O Arjuna. Even I am performing work. Krishna is saying here, although I do not have any work, I am engaged in work. You see, so wonderful. Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There is a very beautiful verse. Krishna, Prabhupada is explaining the purport. Who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Now, in the Vedic verses, it is said that Tamishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam devatanam paramam cha daivatam patim patinam paramam parastat vidama devam bhuvanesha midyam natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate natassamaschavyadikascha drishyate parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriya cha tam Ishwaranam. He is the supreme controller. He is the master of everything. All the devatas and everyone else actually work under him. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is defined by a very nice shloka that we had earlier discussed when we defined the term Bhagavan. One who possesses the 6 bhagas. Which are the 6 opulences? Bhaga means opulences. So 6 opulences are physical strength, very powerful, number 1 strength. The second opulence of the Lord is beauty. Third opulence of the Lord is wealth, unlimited wealth. And the fourth opulence is unlimited knowledge. Krishna's knowledge is amazing. Fifth is unlimited fame. Krishna has unlimited fame. And sixth opulence of Krishna is renunciation. So Krishna possesses all these 6 opulences in full. You see, Krishna has unlimited physical strength. We see so many these wrestlers, WWF and all these people like, when I was a kid, I used to watch this WWF and I had some images of those people in my room, that Undertaker and Tatanka and all these people, and I used to post them on my walls. So these wrestlers, they have some power, physical strength, but can they lift a Govardhan hill like Krishna? Can they kill the big demons like Krishna, like Aghasura, the Putana, Shakatasura? No. Krishna's physical strength is unlimited. Now what about Krishna's beauty? Krishna is extremely beautiful, very, very beautiful. It is said in the Brahma Samhita, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Extremely beautiful. Krishna's bodily features are very beautiful, and that's why everyone gets attracted to him. There is a very beautiful pastime, where Naranarayan Rishi, they were doing intense tapasya. Even now they are doing tapasya in Badrikashram. So Indra was very envious and he was jealous. Oh, these two are doing so much of tapasya, Narayan Rishi. I should disturb their meditation. I should disturb their tapasya. And Indra sent the beautiful apsaras from heaven to disturb them, and they were dancing and all these things. And then Narayan Rishi, who is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, he produced very, very beautiful damsels from his own body. They were so beautiful that the apsaras from heaven, they actually put down their heads in shame. They were so beautiful. Now Krishna, that's why it is said, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya. Kamaniya means Cupid. Cupid is very beautiful. But Kandarpa Koti, millions and millions of beautiful women you put in front of Krishna, they are nothing. Their beauty is no match for Krishna's beauty. That is the beauty of Krishna. So Krishna has unlimited beauty. So what about Krishna's wealth? Now Krishna has unlimited wealth. We can possess some gold, but Krishna possesses gold mines. We can possess 1 or 2 diamonds. Krishna possesses all the diamond mines, you see. Not just of this planet, but of the entire universe. Not just this universe and all universes. So he is the ultimate enjoyer and he is the very wealthiest person we can actually ever come in contact with. So you see, Krishna is such a rich father and we are all part and parcel of such a rich father. Why should we work for someone else? We should work for Krishna, our rich father, you see. So now there are some yogis. They also have some opulences. They also, through their mystic power, they can get some gold. Prabhupada says very beautiful example of how when Prabhupada was a small boy, he had a tutor. So this tutor used to tell Prabhupada, oh, I have my Guru Maharaj. He's a yogi. And you know what? When I wanted very nice pomegranates from Afghanistan, Kabul, that yogi actually through his mystic power called Prapti, he could get pomegranates from Kabul. So that much power they had. Prabhupada also explains of yogis who have this power of creating some gold. There is a process also when some yogis, they drink mercury. They drink mercury in night, and morning when they pass urine, they take that urine and they put some copper coins, and then later on through some chemical process, they create gold out of it. So there is a process like that. So you see, so now Krishna possesses unlimited of all these opulences. So much of wealth is there. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that not in the spiritual world, in the material world itself, in one of the dvipas, one of the islands, in one of the Saptadvipas, there are huge mango trees, and one mango is as big as an elephant. And when that ripened mango, such a huge mango, it falls from the tree, they create a river of the mango pulp. There is a whole river of the mango pulp. And now this is not some imaginary and some sort of what they call as mythological thing. It's actually a fact, because Srimad Bhagavatam has nothing to do with mysterious things or mythological things. So there is a river of mango pulp, and that mango pulp, when it gets mixed with the soil, it creates gold. And all the devatas, they take that gold which is created by the mango pulp and they make jewels. You see, such an opulence. Now Krishna possesses all these things. So much of wealth is there with Krishna. Amazing, isn't it? So now, this is about wealth. What about his fame? 5,000 years ago, Krishna appeared. 5,200 years ago. But even now, even till date, Krishna is so famous. Everyone knows, and we are building temples after temples for Krishna. He is very famous. What about knowledge? Albert Einstein and many other great scientists have created some theories, but Krishna's knowledge is so absolute that in spite of having many centuries and eons have passed away, we still refer to this wonderful absolute knowledge given by Krishna, that is the Bhagavad Gita. You see, so wonderful it is. Krishna's knowledge is not relative like today's modern scientists. They say, oh, Pluto is a planet today. 10 years later, Pluto is not a planet. You see, they keep changing the theories. But Krishna's knowledge is not like that. So Krishna has amazing knowledge, and that's why he has given us this Bhagavad Gita to us. What about renunciation? Now, Krishna possesses unlimited renunciation. He has everything. He possesses everything. At the same time, he has the capacity to renounce everything. Why does he have the capacity? Because he possesses everything. You see, there is nothing for Krishna to gain. There is no prayojana for Krishna in creating this material world. See, Krishna is providing everything that we need. He has given us this body. Is there any benefit, any prayojana, any gain that Krishna has to get from it? No. Krishna has no gain from giving us this material body. Krishna is giving and producing food. He is working for us. Does he have any prayojana? He has any gain in that? No. Krishna has no gain, but still is working and providing us this body, providing us this waterfall, this rainfall, and giving us food and everything else. Still working. You see, Krishna is providing all these things, but he has no prayojana in this. Another very interesting thing we should know is, in Krishna, there is no deficiency. Why do we work? One reason why we work is because we have some deficiency in something. For example, we do not have enough money, that's why we work. We look for gain. Oh, if I work, then I'll gain something. There is some deficiency in wealth, I need to work. There is some deficiency in the position that I have right now. So I need to work and gain a higher position. So always when we work, the motivation behind our work is some gain. Material gain or spiritual gain. There is always some gain. Right now when we are listening to this Bhagavad Gita session, I am speaking and you are listening, there is a gain. The gain is we are acquiring knowledge, right? So this is a spiritual gain, but still it is a gain. But Krishna is so wonderful, he is so supreme that he works not for any gain, no prayojana, still he works. Still he works. Why? He works because he wants to set an example. He wants to set an example to all of us. That is why he works. That is why he wants to make us, he wants to give us this impetus to work by setting an example. Ichha matram prabho shrishtihi. Just by Krishna's willing, everything is created. But still, he works. Actually, not just Krishna, even the demigods, even they have to work. It's not that they are free. They have to take care of all the responsibilities, the environmental responsibilities, day in and day out. They are so scared of Krishna that they have to work. It is said, there is a shloka, I just don't remember right now, but all Chandras, Surya, everybody is working. Why? Because they want to please Krishna. Everybody has to work. But now, amazing thing is, although Krishna is so supreme, Krishna has to work. And this is very nicely explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in one of the pastime of Dwarka Leela, where Narad Muni, he visits Dwarka just to see what Krishna is doing as a Grihastha. Krishna has married so many thousands of queens. Now Narad Muni wanted to understand what is Krishna doing in Dwarka. And then when Narad Muni visits Dwarka, he sees in the palace of Rukmini that Krishna is sitting on a couch and then Rukmini is nicely fanning him. And Narad Muni was astonished to see this. The goddess of fortune is nicely serving, although there are so many maidservants. She herself is serving Krishna. And moment Narad Muni enters, Krishna immediately gets up from his place, goes to the place where he receives Narad Muni very nicely, welcomes him nicely, washes Narad Muni's feet. Can you imagine? Krishna is bowing down and he's touching his helmet to the ground and bowing down to Narad Muni. And he's saying, we are Grihasthas, you are a great Devarishi, you are such an exalted person. It is our fortune that we have to serve you. Krishna is telling to Narad Muni. Now Narad Muni understands that this is Krishna's Leela, and he understands and he receives all the service that Krishna is giving him. See, so wonderful. Krishna is setting an example how to treat the Brahmanas, how a Grihastha should treat Brahmanas. Krishna is setting an example here. Then after receiving all this, Narada said, okay, Narada thought I'll go to some other palace. He leaves this palace of Rukmini and then he goes to a palace of another queen, and there Krishna is playing chess with another queen and with Uddhava. They are nicely playing chess. And then Narada Muni comes and sees, see what happened? I was just there and I saw you with Rukmini Devi, and here you are playing chess with another queen and Uddhava. And same thing, Krishna is acting and receiving Narada in such a way as if nothing has happened in the previous palace, although he knows everything. Now Narada was, okay, now without any delay, let me go to another palace. He goes to another palace, there Krishna is doing Achamana. Another palace he is taking bath. Another place he is nicely taking care of the Shaligrama Shila. Another place the queen is saying, no, he is taking bath right now and he will be doing puja. So another place when Narada Muni went, he is riding on the horses. Another place Narada goes and then he sees that he is actually going on hunting. Another place he is discussing with the ministers. In another palace he is discussing about the building up temples and new projects and roads and other things in the Dwarka city. You see, Krishna was fully engaged. Although he has nothing to do, natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, but Krishna is working. And Narad Muni was so astonished, oh my Lord, you're working? Why do you have to do all this? Why? Because to set an example. Because we all have to do all these things. Lord, Supreme Lord is doing every day as a Grihastha Panchamahayagna. I explained to you earlier that how Grihastha is supposed to do. The married people, Grihasthas, are supposed to do Panchamahayagna. It is called Panchashuna also. So Krishna is doing all these things. Just see. So wonderful the Lord is. So very nice. Krishna is setting an example here. And that's why Krishna is right now in the battlefield. Although he could have killed just by his will, he could have killed all these adharmic people, but still he is there on the battlefield, on the chariot of Arjuna to set an example. He is telling Arjuna, I am right here to set an example. You see, I am fighting. sitting here on a chariot. Fighting in a sense, he's assisting Arjuna. He himself had promised that he will not fight, but he's assisting. You see, he's doing work. So wonderful it is. But why Krishna is there on the battlefield? That is because for a right cause. He is there for a right cause, to set dharma in this world, to organize everything nicely in a dharmic way. That's why Krishna has come here and he's on the battlefield. Actually, nothing is bad in Krishna's service. Please understand. Many people think that we should do this, we should not do that. As long as it is used in Krishna's service, including violence, is good. And at the same time, nothing is good if it has no purpose in serving Krishna. So everything is good as long as it is in the service of Krishna. That's why there is a very nice phrase. It is called, the end justifies the means. If your end is Krishna, no matter what route you take to reach that end, Krishna, everything is justified, including violence. You see? So that is what Krishna is explaining here in this particular shloka, that how I am setting example, my dear Arjuna. So please, even if you neglect Janakadayaha, Brahma and Priyavrata Maharaj, you take my example. Please work. Don't give up your work. So let us all work. Okay, so no, we cannot get rid of our work. We all have to work. We cannot be performing inaction. We should always be in action. Why? Because that's the nature of the soul. The nature of the soul is always to be in action. So let's be in action always. So, Hina Mataji, please unmute yourself and let's chant this another very interesting words. And let's see what Krishna is explaining here in the next words. That is verse number 23. So, yeah, I think you're already there. Yes. Mataji, can you repeat?
Yes, but I cannot see any screen, Prabhuji.
Okay, just hold on. Yeah, it should be visible now.
Yes.
Yadi hi aham na varteyam.
Yadi hi aham na varteyam.
Jatu karmani atandritaha.
Jatu karmani atandritaha.
Mama vartmanu vartante.
Mama vartmanu vartante.
Manushyaha partha sarvashaha.
Manushyaha partha sarvasaha.
Once again, yadi aham na varteyam.
Yadi hi aham na varteyam.
Jatu karmani atandritaha.
Jatu karmani atandritaha.
Mama vartmanu vartante.
Mama vartmanu vartante.
Manushyaha partha sarvashaha.
Manushyaha partha sarvasyaha.
Wonderful. Please repeat. You can read the translation, Mataji, by yourself.
Yes. For if I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, very interesting thing here. Krishna is saying that, oh Partha, if I did not engage in work, then certainly the whole world will follow me and they will also not work. So, Krishna is saying that it's extremely important that we need to work, and Krishna is using a very nice word here, Manushyaha Partha Sarvashaha. Manushyaha. So, Krishna is the leader of all the Manushyaha, all the living entities. Not just human beings, but in fact, every living entity in this whole universe and universes across. So, Krishna is the ultimate leader, you see. So, Krishna says that Aham Bija Pradapitaha. I am the seed giving father of each and every living entity. So, Krishna is having this role of a leader, and he explained just in the previous words, we discussed about Krishna's Dwarka Leela, Now you can imagine Krishna was having such a huge family. Now, how many wives did he have? Let me see if anybody guesses that right in the comment section. Can anyone mention how many wives did Krishna have in Dwarka Leela? Let me see the comments. You can all give me the answers. So there is someone who is saying that 60,000 wives. Achyutanji is saying 16,000 wives, quite close. I want the right answer. Let me see on YouTube if somebody is giving me the right answers here. Okay, so not yet. Here, Hina Mataji gives the right answer and she says that there are 16,108 wives. Krishna had 16,108 wives. Can you imagine? We can't even manage one wife. It's difficult. Now that's why Krishna is supreme. At least for this reason, we should understand that Krishna is the supreme Lord. You know, he can manage 16,108 wives. Who can manage? Amazing. What capacity Krishna has. So now that's not the end. By the way, Krishna had 16,108 wives. That's one part. But from each of these wives, he had 10 sons and one daughter. That is 11 children from each of these wives. Now, can you please give me the answer? Altogether, how many children did he have? 16,108 wives into 11 children. Waiting for your answers quickly. Let's see who gives the right answers. You can use a calculator if you want to. How many children did Krishna have when he was playing this Dwarka Leela? So it's huge, but I just want to get the right answer. Let's see who gives the right answer here. It's very interesting. Let's see. You just imagine 16,108 wives into the number of children. Yes, so here we go. So we are getting the right answers very close. It is 1,77,188. Yes, I get there is a nice one person here. I just don't see his name displayed properly, but you got the right answer. It is 1,77,188 children. Now that's an opulence in itself. You know, in the olden times, in the Vedic times, when you have a lot of children, that's opulence. You know, each one of them earlier having 5 children, 6 children was quite common. And having 10 children was quite common. Even my great-grandmother, she had one whole cricket team, 11 children, 11 sons and about 3 daughters. You see? 14 children she had. Such a huge family. So now Krishna is so huge. His family was so huge. 1,77,188 children. Now, number of children plus 16,108 wives. Can you add 16,108 wives to the number of children? Let's see who gets the right answer now. Yes, Vijay Vittal is also saying that 1,77,188. Wonderful, Vijay. You got the right answer. But now, let's see the family size, including the wives and the children. Who gets the right answer? Yes, here you go again. I just don't know your name, but here I get it from both of you. And that is, Hina Mataji also gives the right answer. So all put together, the family size was 1,93,296. What a huge family. What a huge family. By the way, this is the number of wives and children Krishna himself had expanded into 16,108. Can you please add that number as well? Krishna also expanded into 16,108. Let's see what answer we get now. Let's see what the there you go. So Hina Mataji is saying it is 2,09,404. You see the huge family. wonderful family of Krishna. Now, the very interesting thing here, Maitri Mataji is asking in the comments, she's saying that how does the children of Krishna differ from all of us being part and parcel of Krishna? Very interesting question. So now, although we are all part and parcel of Krishna, not just we, but in fact, every living entity, no matter you are an elephant, you're a tiger, or whatever it is, we are all children of Krishna, but we differ in a way, in a sense that they were all directly participating in the Leela of Krishna, whereas we do not have that opportunity to be in the Leela of Krishna because of right now we have that contaminated consciousness. But all those who participate in Krishna Leela, who became the wives and children, they were all exalted devotees. Nobody can be a part of Krishna's family like that with having an intimate relationship unless we have that developed pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness. All those devotees had that consciousness and hence they could be a part of Krishna Leela in Dwarka. But right now we are not. Although we are children, he is the Supreme Father, but we don't really accept him as a father. They had accepted him as a father. We don't accept Krishna. We are all rebellious. We don't want Krishna to be our father. We want to be the masters. We want to be the controllers. All right, Krishna says you want to be the master, you be there. And hence you will not get an opportunity to be a part of the Leela that I am performing. So that's the answer. Right now, we have to develop this consciousness of Krishna and become pure in our consciousness. And then we can also be a part of the Leela. And that's exactly what some scriptures also say. Prabhupada says that actually in this life, when we perform our sadhana very nicely, we don't directly go to the spiritual world. We actually go to the universe where Krishna is currently performing Leelas. There are multiple universes and Nitya Leela is happening in so many universes, and we will go to that universe where Krishna is performing Leelas and we will participate in the Leelas of Krishna, become trained. It's like internship, we become trained and then we go to the spiritual world. So there are some explanations by acharyas like that also. We don't directly go to the spiritual world. We first go to that place where Krishna is right now performing Leela. So if you want to go there after this very lifetime, then this is an opportunity. We need to clarify all the dust that accumulated dirt in our mind, and then let's go to be a part of Krishna Leela. I hope that answers your question. And yes, so let's understand few more things. Manushyaha. So we see the huge size of Krishna's family, amazing huge family that Krishna has. So Prabhupada is also explaining that how it's important that many times people say that great leaders, that why Krishna had to perform all this violence, why it was necessary, why was it required, you see. Prabhupada gives an example of Mahatma Gandhi. Now Mahatma Gandhi, Prabhupada praises him. He says that in most of the pictures we see Mahatma Gandhi having a Bhagavad Gita copy in his hand. So Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita was life and soul of Mahatma Gandhi. He was an amazing person, very kind-hearted person, but he misinterpreted the outcome, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and he wanted to preach non-violence. Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield, and Mahatma Gandhi was trying to preach non-violence. But what was the result of that non-violence movement? Ultimately, Mahatma Gandhi was killed by violence, you see, and he could not stop violence. So we need to be very careful in understanding Bhagavad Gita from the right sources, Mahajanas. So in the previous sessions we had discussed that there are 12 Mahajanas. We need to follow in the footsteps of these Mahajanas, and that's how we understand the right thing, the correct essence of Bhagavad Gita. What is the Krishna's intention is understood only through Mahatmas, Mahajanas. So we need to follow Mahajanas. So we need to work, but now the next verse is very, very, very important. And I think we need to really absorb this very important shloka, the verse number 24. I want Chaitanya to unmute. So let me include him and let's take Chaitanya and let's chant this shloka. So Please repeat after me this shloka.
Yeah.
Utsideyuri me loka
Utsideyuri me loka
na kuryam karma chedaham
na kuryam karma chedaham
Shankarasya cha kartasyam
sankarasya cha kartasyam
upahanyami ma prajaha.
upahanyami ma prajaha.
Wonderful. Once again. Utsideyuri me loka
Utsideyuri me loka
na kuryam karma chedaham
na kuryam karma chedaham
Shankarasya cha kartasyam
sankarasya cha kartasyam
upahanyami ma prajaha.
upahanyami ma prajaha.
Yes, please read the translation.
Yes. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these words would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chaitanya.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So, this is a very important shloka, and let's understand some details about this shloka. So, here Krishna is using a very nice word, and he is saying here that Upahanyam ima prajaha. Praja. What is praja or who is praja? So, we have this idea of praja that whenever a king is ruling, anybody in his jurisdiction, in his kingdom, is called praja. So another very interesting meaning of praja is prakrishta rupena ja. Praja means prakrishta rupena ja, means all those who are born are called praja. You are a praja, I am a praja. Why? Because we are born with this material body. So anybody who takes birth with this material body is called praja. So Krishna is saying that if I do not work, then what will happen is I will be the cause of unwanted population. He is saying Sankarasya cha kartasya. Sankarasya. So anyone remembers that this word Sankarasya was used previously also in Bhagavad Gita? Does anyone remember where was this used before? Sankarasya, Varna Sankara was explained. So, in chapter 1, Arjuna had raised this question that there will be unwanted population. In the verse number 40, 39 and 40, he was explaining about Varna Sankara. So, let's understand what is this Varna Sankara? What do we know about Varna Sankara? Actually, Varna Sankara means bad population. And when there is increase in the bad population, there is a problem for the good population. The good people cannot properly habitate in this universe, in this planet. It becomes very difficult for good people to live in this world when there is a lot of bad population, and that's exactly what is happening today in this world. There are so many riots happening. There are so many disturbances and calamities are happening. Why? Because of bad population. Sankarasya. Sankara means crossbreeding. Varna means, we know there are 4 Varnas. And then there is this crossbreeding between Varnas. That is what is called as Varna Sankara. So let's understand this a little bit. In the Vedic times, when there used to be marriages, when there is a marriage, people used to be very, very, very careful and very specific to understand the varna of the boy and the girl. Both the bride and the groom should be of a equal varna. When there is no equal varna, then there is Varna Sankara. So earlier in Vedic times, people were extremely careful about this varna. A Brahmana boy will get married to a Brahmana girl. Kshatriya will get married to a Kshatriya girl. And similarly, Shudras and the Vaishyas. That was the system. But when there is this crossbreeding, that's when there is difficulty. So there are two types of crossbreeding, Varna Sankara, that can happen. What are those? There is something called as ANULOMA and there is something called as PRATILOMA. What is ANULOMA? ANULOMA means where the man, the boy, is of higher Varna and the girl is of the lower Varna. That is called ANULOMA. For example, there is a Brahmana boy, but when he gets married to a Kshatriya girl, then there is Varna Sankara. If the Brahmana boy is marrying to a Vaishya girl, then there is another type of Varna Sankara. So this is called Anuloma, where there is the boy of a higher caste, of higher Varna, and the girl is of a lower Varna. Pratiloma is inverse of this, where the boy is actually of a lower Varna and the girl is of a higher Varna. A boy is of Shudra, but the girl is of Brahmana Varna. So then there is difficulty. What are the problems? Let's see what are the types of Varna Sankara that happens when these kind of cross marriages, or in today's terms, it's called intercaste marriages. Right? Of course, it's not the caste based on the birth. It is the Varna defined by Guna and Karma. Krishna says that very beautifully. Our Varna is not determined by the birth, the family in which we have taken birth. It is actually by the Guna and Karma. So these are the 6 types of Anuloma, or 6 types of Varna Sankara, when the man is of a higher Varna and the girl is of a lower Varna. So when a Brahmana boy gets married to a Kshatriya girl, the progeny, the son who is begotten, is of Kshatriya nature. They are called as Anantara. Kshatriya nature is called Anantara. When a Brahmana boy gets married to a Vaishya girl, a merchant class girl, then there is another kind of progeny that comes out. They are called Ambasta. When a Brahmana boy gets married to a Shudra girl, then it gives rise to Nishada, a population, a progeny called Nishada. The son is called to be a part of Nishada. Now, these are the Brahmana. Now, the Kshatriya, the second highest class is Kshatriya. So, when a Kshatriya gets married to a lower class girl of Vaishya, then the output, the progeny is of Vaishya nature. The son will have a Vaishya nature. They are called Anantara again. And when a Kshatriya boy gets married to a Shudra girl, it gives rise to Ugra. So these Ugra, people who are out of this kind of progeny, they are very ferocious in their behavior. They take pleasure in giving hurt to people. They will give a lot of pain to people, and they take pleasure in giving pain to people. That's why they are Ugra. When a Kshatriya marries a Shudra girl. And then Vaishya. When a Vaishya boy gets married to a Shudra girl, it gives rise to Shudra kind of progeny, and then that is also called as Anantara. So these are the 6 types of Anuloma, where the boy is of a higher Varna, the girl is of a lower Varna. All these categories are called Varna Sankara. These are all crossbreeding. So whenever there is crossbreeding, the problem is some of the good qualities will reduce in human society, in the progeny. Now, what are the 6 types of Pratiloma? Let's understand. When the girl is of a higher Varna, when a Kshatriya boy gets married to a higher caste girl, that is of a Brahmana, who is having the Brahminical nature, it gives rise to a son who is Kshatriya in nature. They are also called as Suta. When a Vaishya, lower Varna, Vaishya boy gets married to a Kshatriya girl, it gives rise to Magadha. When a Vaishya boy gets married to a Brahmana girl, much elevated, then it gives rise to a son who is Vaideha. Shudra, lowest class, Varna, when gets married to Vaishya, a higher class, the merchant class girl, it gives to a Yogava. And when a Shudra boy gets married to a Kshatriya, a Shatrani, it gives rise to a progeny called Kshatri. And when a Shudra boy gets married to a Brahmana girl, it gives rise to a progeny called Chandala. Now, dear devotees, this is not the end of it. Now, this permutation combination goes on. For example, a Chandala, he gets married to a Brahmana, it gives rise to another category. If we have to discuss all this Varna Sankara and the types of Sankaras, the whole session will be on that. So, I just wanted to give you an idea that how crossbreeding can lead to so much of confusion. Now, what are the main reasons for this Varna Sankara? What are the main reasons of Varna Sankara is, number one, adultery. When there is adultery between the boy and a girl of different Varnas, then the progeny will be of Varna Sankara. It is not be of a high quality progeny. You see? One is adultery. And sometimes it is forceful adultery. For example, we have heard about war children. You know, some of you must have heard about war children where many times when kings and soldiers and armies, they go and conquest another nation, and then, many women are exploited, and that gives rise to a lot of unwanted population. So all this is Varna Sankara. And then also, that is one reason. Adultery is one reason and cause for Varna Sankara. Second is this intercaste marriages that happen. In the previous, the reason that I told you that how when there is, adultery, there are a lot of single parents, especially in the Western world, we see there are a lot of single parents. Why single parents? Why there is no mother or there is no father? Because the children are born just because of lust. Because the drive was there, they were driven by lust, and that's how the children have come out. There is no such thing as marriage and the samskara of vivaha, nothing of that sort, and there are single parents. So this is all Varna Sankara. So that is number one. Second is the intercaste marriage. When we say intercaste marriage, again, it is defined not by the caste system that we have today. It's about Varna. We are talking about Varna. So then that also gives rise to Varna Sankara that we have understood through this ANULOMA and PRATILOMA examples. These are all intercaste marriages, intervarna marriages, the right appropriate term. And then we have the third reason. And the third reason and the most important reason is for Varna Sankara, unwanted population, unwanted progeny is when each of these Varnas do not perform their prescribed duties. It gives rise to Varna Sankara. Let us understand. Suppose there is a Brahmana boy who has got married to a Brahmana girl. Now it's the same Varna marriage. But if the Brahmana does not perform the duties of Brahminical culture, then if he has children, it gives rise to unwanted Varna Sankara. If a Kshatriya, king and a Kshatriya queen, both are married in the same Varna, but if a king is not doing his duty properly and he begets a child, it will lead to a child with lesser qualities of a Kshatriya. So this is the very important reason, and that's why in the Mahabharata, when we see Dronacharya was very ferociously fighting, and then Krishna tells Yudhishthira, go and tell a lie. What's the lie? Ashwatthama hataha. Ashwatthama is being killed. But Dronacharya was still fighting in spite of hearing that word. But then Bhima comes. Oh Ashwatthama Acharya, what are you doing? Don't you understand? Don't you hear that your son has died? What are you doing? Bhima speaks in such a way that anybody can get shaken up. So Dronacharya, when he heard Bhima speaking like that, oh Dronacharya, you are a Brahmana. As a Brahmana, you are actually supposed to teach children You are supposed to have a Gurukula and spread the knowledge. But instead of doing that, you are fighting on the side of Duryodhana and propagating adharma. You see, Dronacharya is a Brahmana, but he is fighting there as a Kshatriya. So it is not a prescribed duty of a Brahmana to fight actually. And the result is what? His son, Dronacharya, Ashwathama. What did he do? He followed his father. He also entered the battlefield. If the father, Dronacharya, told, no, I am not going to fight. I am a Brahmana. I will just teach. Even Ashwathama would have just followed his father. But my father himself is here now fighting. I will also fight. Ashwathama also came into the battlefield. You see? So this is how, when we do not perform our duties properly of our varna, it will result into unwanted progeny. And that is the confusion today in the whole society. All these low-class people are coming, more and more such low-class progeny is coming and creating disturbance in this whole universe, in this whole planet, and good people are not getting enough and proper means and resources to execute their duties. All this is Varna Sankara. And by the way, what happens, the result of this is, when these unwanted people, unwanted progeny that comes in, this Varna Sankara category of people come in, they do not just create further Varna Sankara only in human society, but they create Varna Sankara in other species of life also. Now, you see, that's what's happening in today's world. This human species, we are so, in the name of technology, we are actually exploiting all the different species. Isn't it? Everything in the name of innovation, we are going seedless. Earlier, grapes used to have seeds and fruits used to have seeds. Today, in the name of innovation, we are going seedless. So when we humans are actually eating all the seedless grapes and seedless fruits, the result is humans are also becoming seedless. And that's why there is no progeny. Many people are not even able to conceive children. Why? Because they are eating all the seedless food. You see? And they don't think, if I take out the seed from the fruit, where will I get seeds in the future? How will I get grapes in the future if I'm making all seedless? You see, we have to preserve the seed for the future generation. But today, in the name of innovation, that's happening. Crossbreeding is happening not just in fruits and vegetables, but it is also happening in so many different types of animals like cows. Now, they took the hormones of pig and then they put it in the cows, and that's why we have these HF cows, the Jersey cows. Why? Because they want more and more milk production. And the result is, by drinking such milk, people are getting diseased. So many unwanted diseases are coming. When you eat the Varna Sankara plants, fruits and milk products and all these things, then what will happen is you will be infected with disease. We all have heard about the crossbreeding between the lion and a tiger. It is called liger. You must have seen that also. It doesn't look like a lion, it doesn't look like a tiger. What avavastha it is in the society. We are so much confused with our dharma, we are trying to confuse other species also. In fact, animals are quite sensible. They will not crossbreed. They know, if I am a dog, I will just go and produce progeny in a dog itself. But here, we humans, we are trying to do all this experimentation, and in the name of innovation, we are spoiling the society. Just leave as it is. Why we need to disturb the society and the environment, you see? Animals are quite intelligent, but humans have lost their IQ, their intelligent quotient. We have become less than animals. We don't even know some basic principles of existence, how to lead life in this nature, trying to exploit everything that we come across. So this is Varna Sankara. This is the result of all the chaos in the society today. Very, very unfortunate. Now, people are so worried about the very high pedigree of horses. When there are horse races, they are having a lineage of horses. Oh, this horse is coming from this parent, and this horse was coming from his ancestor. They're all high pedigree horses. Similarly, dogs. When people want to purchase some dogs, they want very high pedigree dogs. If we are so concerned about having a high pedigree horse and high pedigree dogs, what about high pedigree human beings? Where are the environmentalists today? They are so concerned about high-grade environmental things. But what about the high-grade human society? Nobody is worried about that. You see all Varna Sankara. There is Sankara happening in mangoes, fruits. You take mango of a nice taste, you mix with some other mango, and you create another type of mango which has totally no taste. So all these are happening. Dear devotees, we should be extremely careful about Varna Sankara, and we should not be in any way promoting this Varna Sankaras, consciously or unconsciously. So this is pathetic situation. And there is a very nice theory called Malthusian theory. Prabhupada explains this, Malthusian theory. There was this Thomas Robert Malthusian. He was an economist in 18th century, and he has very nicely understood this Varna Sankara. He says that in the world, whenever in the world there is unwanted population, there will be three things. What is that? Pestilence, famine, and war. Pestilence, famine, and war. And that's exactly what's happening. This unwanted population will come and they'll create disturbance for the good population. So this is very, very sad. Very, very sad. So I think we need to understand these principles of Varna Sankara. So it's a deep topic. So you see why Krishna is telling about this Varna Sankara, because Arjuna had asked this question. Let's see what Arjuna had asked in the first chapter. He had said in the 40th verse very nicely, Arjuna's concern was, in the 39th verse he said, Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishnam adharmo bhibavat utaha. So, with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family traditions is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligious practices. And next verse, Arjuna is saying that Adharma bhibavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. So, when the irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupt. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So where is the problem? The problem very nicely Arjuna is addressing. He's saying that Kula Dharma Sanatanaha. When the Kula Dharma gets destroyed, it will ultimately result in Varna Sankaraha. So just like Dronacharya, his Kula Dharma was supposed to teach. Our Kula Dharma is something that we need to identify, and we have not identified, unfortunately. That's the situation today. And when we are simply working without understanding our Kula Dharma, it is giving rise to so many unwanted things. You see? So that is why Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, you yourself told that there should not be an unwanted population. We have to do Kula Dharma. You are a Kshatriya. Why you want to avoid fight? You better fight and perform your Kula Dharma. Because Arjuna, if you do not fight, you are escaping from your Kula Dharma, which will ultimately result into all these unwanted people taking advantage of the Kshatranis. They will exploit the Kshatranis, and then it will be a problem. It will give rise to unwanted population. So what you thought will give rise to unwanted population is right, but that's exactly why you need to fight as a Kshatriya. So see, Krishna is again bringing back Arjuna and telling him that Varna Sankara will happen if you do not fight. It is not by not fighting Varna Sankara will happen. It is if you fight properly, then Varna Sankara can be stopped. Is what Krishna is saying to Arjuna. So it's a very big topic. Varna Sankara itself is a very big topic. So it's very interesting to see all these things are coming up here. So why these things are happening in the society of this crossbreeding and trying to bring new things, create new things, new species. All we are trying is because we want to imitate God. We want to be God. That's why we are imitating. God has created everything naturally in his capacity. But when we want to imitate, that's the problem. So that's why Krishna Prabhupada is saying in this purport here, Naitat samachare jatu manasapi hi anishwaraha vinashyatya acharan maudajya yata rudro bijam visham ईश्वराणाम वचस सत्याम ततैव चरितम क्वचित तेषाम यत् सो वचो युक्तम बुद्धिमां तत् समाचरे. We should follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, but we should not imitate them. Shiva, Lord Shiva, he drank the poison, the ocean of poison, and he kept it in his kanta. That's why it's called Nilakanta. Can we imitate? Even the fragment of that poison, if we drink, we will be dead. We cannot imitate. And that's exactly what we are doing. Because we want to imitate that which is naturally existing, we are creating more and more chaos in the society. Dog is nicely there, naturally available. So many species and different varieties of dogs are there, but humans will feel, no. Let me, with my intelligence and innovation, let me create another type of dog. And then problem will come. Cow is naturally existing. No, man will say, I want to create a cow. And then there is a problem. So this is Varna Sankara. So I think there will be a lot of questions, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. That's very, very important. And let me see if there are any questions here. So on YouTube, there is one question. Maitri Mataji is asking, how does the children of Krishna differ? Okay, that was already asked. Yeah. So now Achyutanji is saying here, there is a comment. He says that when we are all equal before God, what significance does Varna have? Again, this Varna is based on the guna and karma of a particular soul in this material body. Absolutely. At the soul level, there is no Varna. There is no differentiation between any of these things. But we should know that we are in this material world, not in the spiritual world. And this Varna, this differentiation is not created by us. It is created by Krishna. Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam. Krishna is saying these Varnas are created by me. That's why in Purusha Shukta also he says, in Purusha Shukta prayers, when we say, Brahmano Osya Mukhamasi Bahu Rajanya Kritaha Uru Tat Asya Yad Vaishyaha Padbhyagam Shudro Ajayata. You see? So these four Varnas, Krishna is saying, they are my bodily limbs. They are different parts of my universal form. Brahmanas are representing the mukham, the face, the head region. Kshatriyas are representing the bhujas of the Lord. The Uru means stomach, is represented by the Vaishyas, and the legs are nicely represented by the Shudras. So these are the four Varnas which are representing the universal form of the body of the Supreme Lord. So it is created by the Lord, these Varnas. And we have to fit into one of them. But when we try to play with these things, then there is Varna Sankara. But at the soul level, yes, absolutely, at the soul level, everyone is equal. There is no differentiation between even the cockroach and us, because that's also a soul, right? But at the bodily platform, we need to have this differentiation and act according to our nature. But when we don't understand the nature, then there is a problem. So Achyutanji is saying, does conversion also imply Varna Sankara? What is the meaning, characteristics of Vaidehi? Okay. So does conversion, first question, does conversion also imply Varna Sankara? So I think you are referring to the conversion of people from one religion to another religion. Is that what you are trying to say, Achyutanji? Let me bring you on the... Yes, you can also just speak out, unmute yourself and you can speak. Can you ask the question so that we can understand it better? Conversion, when you say conversion of people, does that mean conversion between religions? Okay, looks like I cannot unmute unmute him. Okay, no problem. So yes, as there is... Okay, let's understand one more thing. I want to tell here that this Varnas It's not that only in India we have this Varna. This Varna is applicable to people across the world. There are Brahmanas in America, there are Brahmanas in Australia, there are Brahmanas all over the world. Similarly, there are Kshatriya class, there are Vaishya class, there are Shudra class. All these four classes, the business class is there in all parts of the world. The working class is there in all the parts of the world. The soldiers, armies are there in all the parts of the world. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, this division is naturally present across the world. But when there is an interaction, the interchange between the Varnas, it's not really, really doesn't talk about Hindu, Muslim or Christian marriages. No, not about that. Varna is defined by your inclinations, default settings. So that default settings are very much present in each of these religions also. There is a Christian Brahmana, there is a Christian Vaishya, there is a Christian Shudra. He is in a Christian religion as per, but from the definition of Varna that we get from Bhagavad Gita, these Varnas are across the world and across different sects of people. Right? So that is how, though religious conversion may or may not, it depends on the Varna again. It depends on the Varna, what Varna does they belong to. If there is somebody Muslim, but there is a Muslim philosopher, he is a great philosopher, that means he's a Brahmana. And then if somebody gets married from a Christian who is also a philosopher girl, she gets married to him, it's okay because the Varna is same. Although they may be coming from the different religion, but then their Varna is same. Similarly, a Kshatriya of Hindu, who is a soldier, but at the same time he gets married to a soldier from America who is a Christian, they have the same Varna. They may be belonging to different religion, but the Varna is same as per the definition of Bhagavad Gita. You see? Good. So I think I have triggered some nice questions here. So let's see. Let me take some questions here. Very interesting. So yeah, I think we will take some questions before we go to the next shloka. Chaitanya is asking, they also say that though there is Varna Sankara, a child is born to somebody is completely based on the karma of their last lives. How this gets justified? The reason we take a particular birth in a particular Varna is because of our karma. If you are actually born in a particular Varna, that's because of your karma. Because of your previous karma was such that you have to take birth in a Kshatriya family, you will take birth in a Kshatriya family. So yes, definitely it is karma based. All these are Daivanetrena. Taking birth, that's why the calculations that goes on, bringing a child is not simply a physical act. It is not simply a man and a woman coming together and they unite and the child is coming. But the child is coming with so much of baggage and all that is nicely calculated by Daivanetrena. Who has to take birth where, in which family, all these classifications are done, all these things are taken care by the Supreme Lord, the Paramatma within the heart. We cannot even understand these things. We cannot even understand. But if we perform Garbhadana Samskara, if the husband and the wife, if they are very, very well trained and they perform Garbhadana Samskara, then they are actually preparing themselves to attract the right soul into their family. There are many great souls waiting to take birth to have wonderful parents. They are waiting to have good parents. But here on this planet, there are no good parents. I mean, there are good parents, but as per the definition of Krishna, when we prepare ourselves spiritually, there are many good parents, but good parents doesn't mean simply who are aristocratic or who speak well behaved. No, Krishna really doesn't talk about good behavior alone. Good parents means those who are spiritually elevated. Great souls are waiting for someone, some parents who can help them in their Krishna consciousness, in their spiritual journey. So if we can become Krishna conscious parents, then Krishna will send great souls into the family. And that will bring a lot of transformation in the society. That's why begetting good population is very, very important. We are not against having only, not against having many children. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says you should have children. You can have hundreds of sons, provided you make them Krishna conscious. And we need some devotees like that. We need good children like this in the society, who can transform and who can bring revolution in the society, who can stop this Varana Sankara, who can stop all these nonsensical things that are happening in the name of innovation and technology. Right? So we should have good population. And if you want to have good population, there is no limit. Our Shastras say you can have more children. You see? So these are some very important things we should know and understand. So Vinodji had asked, what is the meaning and characteristics of Vaidehi? So let me just quickly go. Vaidehi, yeah. There is a Brahmana and the Vaishya girl. Brahmana boy and a Vaishya girl gives rise to Vaidehi. So let me quickly go to that. No, sorry, a Vaishya and a Brahmana. Vaishya and a Brahmana gives rise to a Vaidehi. So let me get back to you on this, Vinodji, because I need some more details on this, but definitely I will get back to you on this. What are the characteristics? It's a very good question. In fact, this whole permutation combination and what type of outcome, what type of progeny comes, I will definitely try to explain this in another session, but this personally I will explain to you. It's very important. So Hina Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, could we also have small session discussion on Anant Koti Brahmanda, creation of multiple universes? Okay, so we can explain, we can also have a session on this. I will let you know. Sometimes in the evenings, on weekends, we can have this session, and it will be a short session. We can discuss on this multiple universes. Today, people are talking, even the scientists are talking about multi-universe existence. So yes, there is a multi-universe existence. We can understand and we can talk about that. It is very nicely explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We will definitely touch upon that as well. Good. So, any more questions, please? So we have 10 more minutes, and I think we can quickly finish off another shloka for today. So, Vinod Chandanji, maybe you can join and unmute yourself, if possible.
Hello.
Okay, great. So let me display the shloka and let's chant the words. The verse number 25, very interesting. Sattaha karmaniya vidvamsho
Sattaha karmaniya advintamsho
yata kurvanti bharata
yata kurvanti bharata
kuryat vidvamsata saktash
kuryat vidvam tatha sakya
chikirshurloka sangraham.
chikir surloka sangraham.
Once again, Sattaha karmaniya vidvamsho
Sattaha karmanya advintamsho
yata kurvanti bharata
yatha kurvanti bharata
kuryat vidvamsata tata saktash
kuryat vidvam tatha sakya
chikirshurloka sangraham.
chikir surloka sangraham.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
Yes.
You can read it by yourself.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So this is another very interesting thing. So let's understand this last shloka here. So Krishna is saying that there are these two types of people. Na buddhi bhedam. No. Sattaha karmani avidvamso. Sattaha. Satta means people who are attached. And then he is saying kuryat vidvams tata asaktash. Asaktaha. There are saktas and there are asaktaha. People who are not attached. So there are people who are attached to the results and there are people who are not attached to the results. So Krishna is saying, you be a person with a intention of not being attached to the results of your action. So, Kuryat Vidvams, he is a jnani, he is an intelligent person who is not attached to his actions. So, many times we see there is a merchant, a business, a materialistic merchant, a materialistic businessman, and there is a devotee businessman. So, now on the platform that we see them, both appear to be doing business. But it's not that simply they are doing business. What they do with the result they get is most important. The materialistic businessman, he uses his money and spends the money for sense gratification. Whereas the devotee, he also earns money, but he uses that for spreading Krishna consciousness. So both are doing business, but what do they do with the result defines whether they are attached or they are not attached, whether they are saktas or they are asaktas. It defines how they use, how do they do their expenditure. That defines whether they are devotees or they are not devotees. You see? So, very nice example is given by Prabhupada of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were very high-class ministers in the kingdom of Nawab of Bengal, and they were prime ministers there, and they were earning a lot of money. But Rupa Goswami, he used to divide his money in three parts. 50% of his income, he used to use it for dharma, for Krishna consciousness. 25% for his family and relatives and all those things. 25% for emergency. You see, this is the principle set by our acharyas. When we get our income, this is how we need to divide. 50, 25, 25. 50% for Krishna consciousness. Now there is a heart attack. Some of you, oh what, Prabhu? 50% of our income. How can we give 50% to Krishna? So, don't worry, we are not asking you to give 50% right away. If you can give, that's amazing. But at least start giving 2%, 3%, 4%. This concept of giving should come. This idea of giving should come. So, this is how Krishna is saying that there are people who are saktas and there are asaktas. So, now Krishna is also saying that there are many people who have lot of knowledge and lot of followers, but they do not distribute that knowledge. Now, knowledge is also opulence, like we earlier mentioned, but when you do not distribute that knowledge, then you will confuse the followers. There are a lot of many famous people today, and a lot of followers they have, fan following they have, but their fans are confused because these people do not work, they do not perform their prescribed duties, and their followers are thinking, what should I do? They're completely in dilemma, you see. So that should not happen. That's why a learned person, a leader, has this responsibility to set right example by performing his prescribed duties. Nor a jnani, an intelligent person, a self-realized person, should not induce people towards inaction. A self-realized soul should actually induce people to perform their prescribed duties. That's the nature of a jnani. Not that, oh, I have become a jnani, now I have renounced everything. All of you also please renounce. No, that is not good preaching. Good jnani will engage everyone according to their nature, according to their varna. So that is very, very important. So Krishna is saying, yeah, such people who are jnanis should perform their activities and then also induce people into their respective work. Very, very important. So that's why, dear devotees, we should know that this human body is a very wonderful boat. This is the boat through which we can cross this ocean of material existence. Just like if you want to cross the very turbulent Atlantic Ocean, you need a very strong ship. Atlantic Ocean is quite turbulent most of the times. That's what Prabhupada says, and that's what most of the seafarers they say, that Atlantic Ocean is quite turbulent most of the time. You need a very strong boat, a ship to cross that. Similarly, this whole material existence is very turbulent. Padam padam yad vipadam. Constantly there are so many problems in our lives. If you want to cross this ocean of problems, then this human body is amazing. It's a very strong boat that we have got. So let's utilize this. This is a very wonderful boat. By understanding the principles of the Bhagavad Gita and doing our prescribed duty and having a captain like Prabhupada who can guide us, amazing things will happen. So we will reach our destination for sure. And that destination is the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavana. Right? So these are few things that we have discussed today. We have covered about 4 shlokas from 22 to 25, and let's continue from the next verse. But let me take some questions. Let me see if there are any questions. Let's have some question answers. Chaitanya is asking some question. Prabhu also want to know about how the universe is originated as per Vedas. Okay. So like earlier, the question was asked by Hina Mataji about trying to understand how to understand about the multi-universe thing. We will definitely touch upon that part, this same question in that session, so that we can understand in detail, in depth about this particular question, about the existence and the creation of the universe. It's a very nice process, and it's very bewildering also. You know, this whole creation is moving, such a huge universe is moving constantly. Right now, the earth is moving. Earth is moving at a speed of 106,000 kilometers per hour. Can you even imagine? Can you even feel that? If you move in your car, say about 150 kilometers, it will start vibrating. But here, this earth is right now moving at the speed of 106,000 kilometers per hour. We don't even feel any vibration. What a creation it is. Amazing, isn't it? So, we will definitely touch upon these things in the exclusive session that we will have on the creation of the universe. So that's very interesting. So let me see if there are any more questions here. Please feel free to ask. If there are any questions, let's take 1 or 2 questions before we end the session. So I really thank everyone who has joined today on StreamYard, on YouTube, and also those who are listening to the podcast regularly. I request all of you to please share these sessions with each and everyone that you know, so that they also understand the principles of Bhagavad Gita and they also become active in their prescribed duties. So please share with everyone so that it will be really very good. So today we have discussed about how Krishna himself is setting an example. He is saying that he himself works, he performs his duties. We saw the Dwarka Leela of Krishna, and then we also understood about the Varna Sankara today in detail. So definitely we will dive a little more as we go forward. What are the different types of Varna Sankaras? And we also understood about the Krishna's huge family that he had. And we also understood about how the Jnanis should perform their work and induce people to do their prescribed duties. So wonderful, very nice. Okay, so Uma Kumar was also here. And let me see, there were a few other devotees. I'm really sorry that I couldn't get your names, and some of your names were not properly displayed earlier. So, but I still got some very nice, interesting answers from you. So that was really good. Yes. So thank you everyone. So I'll see you again next Sunday with the next upcoming shloka, that is shloka number 26. So please take care, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me in the WhatsApp as well. All right. Take care. Hare Krishna.